What up? So, one of my followers, VLM123, what up, girl? Actually sent me a message about a status that I wrote, and honestly, I've been wanting to talk about this for a minute. I think at first I was going too big with it. I was like gonna make the video called like "Weight Watchers Stop Snatching My Friend," or like "Weight Watchers," more like "Weight Snatchers," you know? Because I've had some very like fucked up experiences with people who I've known. Like, I've been fat my whole life, like from young warthog status to the strangeness of adolescence to the teenage you know Jimmy Dean life, you know what I mean? I've just always been a bigger person. And so in a lot of situations with people, you know, obviously weight loss is on a lot of people's minds. Diet talk is something that happens a lot, especially if you're a fat person. You know, people steady trying to tell you, oh well, I used to be fat. And sidebar, I cannot stand y'all. I used to be 135 pounds at 5'5" or some shit. So you know what it's like to be fat, and you really don't. You might have had a little belly. You might have had, you know, have to shop in the junior mess. But girl, you wasn't in the maternity. You wasn't in the maternity, girl. You was not in the maternity trying to get them stretch leggings that got extra room for the baby belly, bitch, because you know you had a big ass belly and it was a food baby, okay? You didn't have to deal with that. So stop it. I'm so sick of like smaller fat folks trying to tell me about their experiences with being fat, because 9 times out of 10, unless you're a certain, like, there is a difference in fat. There's a difference between being someone who is a death fatty and someone who is an in-betweenie. And just the fact that y'all a lot of times want to start beefs and want to act like you're not privileged, when the whole term in-betweenie is a privileged term, meaning you're in between, meaning that there is a binary of fat and not fat, right? So when you're reinforcing that there's a binary of fatness and not fat, and you're calling yourself an in-betweenie, girl, you are fucking privileged, because you get to go to the plus size stores that have things that are going to hang on you wonderfully and splendidly, and then you can still go to the straight sizes and still fucks with some of their stuff, because a lot of times straight sizes don't necessarily mean they're not plus. It just means that they're not geared toward plus. They're not being marketed towards plus size people. And shit, even some plus sizes, they be having them little ass models, and you be like, is this plus size? Like, you don't even be sure. And I think like that's one of the things that like really irks me. I think at this point, because I am finding myself on like the size 26 end of things more so than the 22, 24, and there's a totally big gap between being a 22, 24 and being a 26, honestly. As I'm sure there's a big gap between being a 22, 24 and being a 26, 28, you feel me? So with that all being said, I've had a lot of experiences with people who have recently lost weight or have lost weight in the past, and just used all of their pent up fat phobia, you know, that's been just like dormant and resting, seemingly, and it just all spills out. It all just comes out. And it usually is a situation where I either have to like stop being friends with this person, or I just like kind of dead them slowly and let them figure out like where they fucked up with me. Because if I had to snatch everybody who was fat phobic, bitch, I wouldn't even have hands. Bitch, I wouldn't even have arms. Like, honestly. So, I made a status. This is what VLM123 asked me about. They were like, will you talk about the status that you posted about post-fat people, meaning like people who used to be fat, basically trying to pop up and, you know, tell you about, you know, more so post-fat people trying to, every time we conversate, bring up things that I don't necessarily want to talk about. And it seems like all the folks that I know that have lost weight and that are like in the stage of life where they're just enjoying not being fat and like just, you know, moving through life now as a not fat person, I find that a lot of times all these folks have to talk about is their meal plans, their activities, and the big number 3, the third largest thing that these folks want to talk about is other fat folks and how fat folks are doing and how fat folks are, you know, just not living the lifestyle that they're living, or that the reason why these people are still fat is because of X, Y, and Z, whatever fat phobic thing you've decided. And what made me write the status was this person that I like met, you know, when I was first making vlogs, first blogging, and just being visibly fat. This was someone who I thought was like really cool, and I had a little bit of a crush, I'm not gonna lie. And I just thought that like in ways, part of my crush was the fact that like we had a very similar body shape. Like I would see pictures of her from the side and I would be like, damn, like that's what I look like on like a, You know what I mean? Like a candid shot. Like, that's what my body looks like. And I'm not gonna lie, when she started losing weight, I had that moment that I have from time to time, where I'll see someone who used to be fat or almost as fat as me or as fat as me, and I'll be like, damn, you know? And I'll kind of have a moment where I feel kind of triggered, bitch, where I feel like I need to lose weight too, where I feel like, you know, if this is what it's about to be like if these, you know what I mean? And it just so happens that a lot of the folks that I've seen lose weight, they were also extremely privileged people. They were either white or white passing or white assimilated to the max. So therefore, when they lost weight, there was a whole host of privileges that they were going to gain no matter what. And I'm not trying to say that me being a lighter skinned black person, losing weight wouldn't mean that I would have more privileges. It just goes to show though how much like privilege can seemingly be kind of like alluring. Like, just be trying to, like, just snatch you in. You know, you just be on Facebook and you see someone that you've known for years weigh 300-something pounds, and you're noticing they're posting all these, you know, tiny waist, you know what I mean, like, broken doll pose, you know? And you're sitting here kind of like, And I think it's also in tandem with the fact that a lot of times they'll post, like, before and after photos, and it's kind of like when you constantly see your body type as a before photo, it kind of makes you feel fucked up. It kind of makes you feel kind of like, what the hell?